Redland City Council, situated in the northern suburbs of Brisbane, are facing native title claims over roughly 3,500 council-owned and managed properties, including Wellington Point Reserve, the Cleveland Cemetery and most of the local parks and playgrounds. The Albanese government and the previous coalition government have funded the Queensland South Native Title Service almost $71 million over a period of 5 years to make claims against the Redland Council and other extensive council areas throughout Queensland. What funding have the Albanese government provided for the respondents, councils and ratepayers to fight these outrageous claims?
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you, President. I don't have that information to hand. I think, unsurprisingly, I would have to go and see if there's any information that I can provide to Senator Hanson, which I am happy to. And sometimes, if people give a heads up, if they've got a question that's that specific, we can prepare so we are able to answer in more detail than I am at the moment, because I accept there's a level of interest from Senator Hanson, and I'm not in a position to answer that today with any information that's been provided to me. But I don't think it's unusual that, and the Commonwealth does provide a range of funding through the NIAA or through the Indigenous Advancement Strategy, and it may be through other arrangements that you refer to in relation to native title, whether it's through the Attorney General's portfolio to support organisations pursuing native title claims. But as to the specifics, I would have to come back to Senator Hanson on that, and I'll see if there's anything I can provide.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Hanson, first supplementary.
Gallagher, I will help you out there. In the 2022-23 financial year, the Attorney-General's Department abolished the native title respondent scheme that provided a piddly $7.1 million, while self-indulgent claimants received almost $71 million to pursue already debt-ridden councils. Why did the Albanese government all but abolish the funding for one and not the other?
Thank you, Senator Hanson. The time has expired. Minister Gallagher.
I'm happy to come back with some information on that. It doesn't actually fall under the portfolio of the Minister for Indigenous Affairs, who I'm representing. That is, as I alluded to in my first answer, a matter for the Attorney-General, for those laughing opposite. And so, I'm not in a position, as I'm not repping that portfolio in this place. I'm happy, and I think this was covered at estimates to some degree. Whether there's any further information I can provide the chamber, I will ask that the Attorney do it, perhaps through Minister Watt.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Hanson, second supplementary.
Well, you might be able to answer this one. 50% of Australia is already under native title, with a further 10% awaiting determination. Minister, at what point will these native title claims end?
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Minister Gallagher.
There's a court says it's legal.
Yeah. Well, there are processes and laws in this country that presumably will be followed unless they are changed, and there is no intention on this side to do that. We are looking forward to putting a voice to Parliament so that there are opportunities to listen to First Nations Australians and to ensure that we're driving better outcomes across the country. This is something that I think all of us on this side of the chamber are pleased to campaign for, and we look forward to that positive campaign over the next 4 to 5 weeks, which is responding to First Nations people, is providing recognition in the Constitution, listening about matters that directly affect them, to drive better outcomes for First Nations people across this country.
Well, Australians beware, be very aware of the Albanese Labor government who are coming after your land. In my question to the Minister today, representing the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island Commission, I asked them why was the funding be given to a Queensland Aboriginal group to make a native title claim against the Redland City Council. And I said how much funding is given to them and how much funding is given to the other side, the Redland Shire Council. Well, absolutely nothing. They are funding the Queensland Native Title body to the tune of $71 million over the next 5 years, yet the funding has been withdrawn from any respondent to defend themselves against this. And we're talking about the Redland City Council of 3,500 council-owned or managed properties. That means the ratepayers are going to have to fund this. How deceitful are you? You actually are quite happy to see Australians' land being challenged and be taken up under the consideration there's already 50% of native title land owned in this country by native title and another 10% under determination. And yet a fund was even set up to actually buy back land as well. And you are funding them to actually make claims. And again today we hear of another council that's been attacked in Sydney. And this 4,000 square metres of land to the tune of it's worth about $100 million, and you're funding this. This $71 million, I'm warning Australians, is only to do with Queensland. Go and have a look at what funding is for the rest of Australia, yet they're not giving any money. They pulled the funding for Australians to be able to stand up and fight these claims. So this Labor Party government that we have here has no concern about this country or you or your interests or that you were born here, that it is your land as well. And she couldn't even answer my question, when will these native title claims end? Couldn't even answer the question, didn't want to.
Hanson, Tom Scott, thank you.